Hey, my name is Zach, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a backflip. All the things you need is just a good mental aspect, a little bit of physical capabilities, and some half-decent grass. It helps if you have access to a trampoline, a couple crash mats, maybe water, diving board, rock to go into the water just with a little bit of extra height, sand, and a spotter. Step one to doing a backflip is simply making sure that you physically can do a backflip. So a beautiful test to be able to see if you can do one is quite simply a jump tuck. If you can jump in the air, completely tuck your legs in and land with your legs fairly straight, then you know that you have enough height and muscle power to do the backflip. Yeah, fairly simple and easy. Step two being that finally now we're actually going to start doing a backwards rolling motion with what everybody understands fairly simply is the back roll. Just make sure that when you do it, make sure that you don't roll directly over the bridge of your neck to the top of your head, especially me because I have a bun. That would hurt, but it just kind of keeps your spine in good working order. Obviously the backflip you will go straight over, but when you're rolling on the ground, not healthy, not good. Next up is the oldest trick from any acrobatic background. I'm pretty sure it was like the Inca Mayans that created like 1500 years ago, but it's quite simply the macaco. The macaco is actually really easy. You're not going to start the way I just did it. That was just a demonstration. But to do a macaco in your early stages is start with all your limbs on the ground except for one arm. What you want to do with your hand is take your hand, turn it so your palm is facing away from your body, and plant it on the ground. Kind of give yourself enough space. You can kind of thrust your hips up. When you do this, you're going to thrust your hips and throw your arm over this shoulder. Your first one might only be something as simple as this, but eventually you will start going over. With a little bit of practice, it's really not that hard. The next step is basically the same as a macaco, but now as you're going over, once you've got a fair good understanding of it, try to get your other hand touching the ground before your feet. This means that you are truly sending your center of gravity completely over your shoulder, more actually like a handspring than a macaco. The thing that can help is really emphasizing a swing with the leg on the same side as the hand that's on the ground. Simply shown like this. So the next step would be a back handspring. Now I never learned the back handspring, so you don't have to learn it. I didn't. It does make things easier though. So if you can find the mentality to be able to actually throw the back handspring completely over your shoulders, congratulations. Once you learn the back handspring and you got it fairly down pat, it's pretty simple. Literally just throw the back handspring and tuck up the legs. They actually require the same throw, just one is you being completely opened up and the other being you're tucking up into a ball. If you can do a back handspring, you can do a backflip literally within the next 5 minutes. If you can't, then you're going to want to follow the next step. So having a spotter. At the moment, I unfortunately don't have anybody, but I can just demonstrate and describe it. So a spotter is essentially going to stand on either side of you, on your left or your right, and they are going to place one hand on your chest and one hand on your tailbone. And essentially they're going to kind of twist you and throw you into the backflip. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, just like kind of describing it like this, but it does really, really work. A trick for the spotter is whichever side the person who's doing the backflip, if they planted their left hand down on the ground, the spotter should stand on their right side. If the person doing the backflip planted their right hand, the spotter should stand on their left. The reason being is because if all of a sudden they go for the backflip and they freak out, they're going to twist to the side that they had their hand on the ground. They're never going to twist to the opposite side. After you have your spotter throwing you with both hands, then it's just basically the aided backflip, where they only use one hand or the other. If you find that you can't conjure up enough height to do the backflip, but you have a bunch of rotation, have the spotter place their hand on your tailbone. The tailbone is really what helps you get your hips up, because all your weight's right here. If you find that you can't find the throw, place the hand on the chest and you can drive it into somebody. It looks really funny when I'm just alone, but trust me, it works. You can get somebody who's twice your weight around if you lean into it. So some people, when it comes to them doing a backflip, as soon as they only have like one hand on them or something like that, and they start to feel like you're not really pushing that hard on them, they're just gonna say, no, go away, shoot. I just wanna throw my backflip, okay? Some people are gonna be like that. Other people, like me, are gonna be a little bit different. Other people, like me, they're gonna be like, no, stay close to me and all that kind of stuff. For those people, you kind of gotta play some mind tricks on them. If you're the spotter, and the person doing the flip doesn't want you to leave, quite frankly, you gotta fool them. Say, don't worry, I'll be here for another 3 flips, and then you're on your own. And they'll say, okay, cool. And then as soon as they do that first one, completely remove your hands as soon as they go. I can guarantee you they're going to land at least 3/4 the way around. They are not going to land their head because they're in the right headspace. So yeah, that's what my brother did. If it means anything, for my first backflip on a trampoline, he straight up punched me in the chest so hard it sent me into a backflip. So there's really ridiculous and weird ways that you can do it. It's kind of a part of the game. After you've done basically your first one, okay? Your first one completely solo, you know? You're gonna start doing backflips and they're not gonna be perfect at first, okay? Like you're probably gonna do something like you're gonna be landing in all 4s and you're probably gonna be doing that all the time, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Take your time with it, practice, and you'll get it eventually. Small little tips for you learning or performing your backflip. The arm swing. Don't completely like yank your arms all the way back. Doing this is just actually taking up so much energy that it's not even useful. Just send them back as comfortable as you are and completely throw them across. Make sure you're not throwing them one at a time. That's how you do a back full. And they're way harder to do than just a normal backflip. Another thing, when you're starting to do your backflips, you can feel it actually in your shin. There's a little indent right underneath your kneecap. Grab that location. That spot pulls your knee in. If you pull too high, then your foot's gonna hang on. If you pull too low, your knee could pop up. But if you hold that perfect spot right there, you tuck up in the tightest ball possible. Another thing, when you do tuck up into your ball, separate your knees. Leave space for your face. If you end up landing still in a ball, you can drop your shoulders and head in between your knees. It is no good when your knees are like this and you smash your face. Another thing is, if you can, find someone who already knows how to do a backflip. I didn't have anybody to do that. I strictly went off of YouTube tutorials. Did it work? Yes. Is it the best thing ever? No. It was sketchy. It was dumb. I had no idea what I was doing the entire time. So if you can find somebody who does know how to do a backflip already, then I strongly recommend you talk to them, because I imagine they'll be happy to help you. Thank you for joining me in the tutorial of how to do a backflip. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm always happy to help with these kinds of things. Practice safely. Go for it, honestly. They're way easier than you might think they are. And yeah, have fun with it. That's the biggest part. See ya.